Today we are going to be talking about how we can keep our students on task. I'll be discussing some resources that you can use in your classroom to help those moments where students just don't want to do their work or they can't do their work. But first we need to discuss some things that we already know about on-task and off-task behavior. Like, for example, we know that off-task behavior is a result of lack of engagement, whether that be the student is not interested in the material that they're working on or the material that is presented, or simply they may not want to do it. Sometimes that's what happens. Sometimes students just come into school with bad moods and they just don't really want to work. And it happens, and we can encourage them, but sometimes we just know that they're just not engaged, and that as a result they're off task. We know that students' minds need to be stimulated and encouraged to work hard and to learn. We know that if a student is not encouraged, we know that they will feel like they can't do the work. We know that self-efficacy is a direct result of encouragement that they receive from their teacher, from home, from their classmates. We also know that it can be affected by the discouragement that they may receive from a bad report on their assignment, or things that may be happening at home, or a fight among friends. We know that all of these things affect a student's ability to engage and their ability to work hard and learn. We have a lot of things working against us as teachers, and we need to work against that. So, questions that we can ask ourselves are: what motivations are you giving your students? Are you presenting awards that they can earn if they work hard? Are you presenting them with opportunities that they may be able to have? Like, you can have lunch with me outside if you complete this assignment by this time. Are you giving them expectations? And speaking of expectations, that leads us to our next point, is in what ways are we discouraging our students from off-task behavior? Are we letting them know the expectations that are in the classroom, so they know that if they don't work, then they don't have these certain privileges or these certain opportunities? Are we giving them punishments for times where they may be off task themselves or starting to get other students off task? Are we providing punishments where, for example, they have certain amount of time off recess, or they have to sit alone in the back of the room because they can't focus, or they have to sit in the back of the room because they're not allowing other kids to work? Are we providing those discouragements to kind of redirect the behavior? Are we doing these things? And are we providing our students breaks? I know that sometimes when we get a good flow of work going, we want to just keep on going and just kind of keep on plowing through the day, but a lot of the times these kids need breaks. I work with a lot of younger kids, and what we call is wiggle time, because we know that if they sit around for a long time, we will start to see them kind of wiggle in their seats. Eventually you can actually watch them wiggle themselves out of their seats, and they will tip back in their seat and they will fall out of their seat just so they can move. We see that happen a lot, and it's because they don't get wiggle time. So are we providing that for them? So what resources are we tapping into? Today I want to present to you 3 different resources, all that I have found help keep students engaged in class, and as a result of that as well, they keep them on task as well. Our first resource is called Class Dojo. With Class Dojo, you can reward your students with the touch of a button, and that's exactly how Class Dojo works. But first off, one very important point about Class Dojo: it is 100% free. It is probably the most accessible resource that I'm going to be presenting today. Everything that you can get on their website is free to teachers. They want to provide teachers with resources and with the technology to be able to help manage their classroom, to keep their students on task. What Classroom Dojo does is it provides instant feedback to the students for redirection and reinforcement. For example, if you see a student, for example, Freddie, right here, who is he's working hard, and you want to reward that. So what you do is you go up to the smartboard, or you go onto your computer, and you congratulate Freddie and say, "Freddie, good job." You click the button, and then you give them a point, and then they'll hear a little chime go off, and they will see that they've just been rewarded for working hard, and that will tell Freddie, and Freddie will think, I want to continue to work hard so I can earn more points. And then it also creates, provides redirection as well. For example, Pete down here, you see that he's got a little red circle. He's been having a rough day. He can't really focus today. So let's say that let's say Pete decides that he wants to get up out of his seat during silent work time, and he wants to go and sharpen the pencils in the classroom when that's not what he's supposed to be doing. So what you do is, Freddie, I need you to sit down in your seat, and he continues to do it. So Freddie, I need you to sit down in your seat. You go up to the smartboard of the computer and you click on that, and then you say, not following directions, and he loses a point. That discourages him from that unwanted behavior, and that also tells him, look, I'm serious. I need you to sit down and work. So it provides that, and the home screen can always be visible to the students, whether it be on your smartboard, projector, or your TV. It's always available for the students to see, so they can see and they can, look on with pride at their points if they've earned a lot, or they can, look on it with, I need to really kind of work today because I'm in the red right now and I need to work hard. Dojo provides students with motivation to stay on task. Like I said, they get points. Their parents can see these points, and the motivation is that if I work hard, I can get points and I can be rewarded. And I think that's direct reinforcement, and I think that's awesome. It is also compatible with PBIS, your intervention system, whatever you use at your school. It is compatible with it. The things that you can reward or discourage your students with for points or taking away points, it's completely customizable by the teacher. You can add behaviors, you can anytime you want, just so that you can reward them. It's completely customizable, and you can put your school's PBIS standards and your mission statement into Class Dojo. It's really, really intuitive. The next resource that I want to talk to you about is called Classcraft. Classcraft allows you to take your students on an adventure that they won't forget. And what I mean by that is it's an immersive role-playing experience. Classcraft really cashes in, and I don't mean cashes in because they do have premium features, and there are some things you do need to pay for. But there is a free version that you can use. But what they really do is they're trying to really kind of grab onto the whole video game interest that kids have. They're trying to grab onto that, and they're trying to incorporate it with curriculum, so that way you can create a very engaging classroom, a really interactive classroom. So kids are immersed in this role-playing experience where each student gets a character that they can customize, that they can make their own. They can give them their own name, but each character has different abilities. They have different classes, and they are basically just they're a different version of the student themselves, where the things that happen in the classroom affect their character, so they can see what happens, and I'll explain that in a minute. But what happens is it promotes student engagement through their leveling system. It encourages on-task behavior and encourages good choices in the classroom by providing what is called XP, or experience points, to the student whenever they make a good choice. For example, if let's go back to Freddie. Let's say Freddie decided that he wanted to hand in his homework and do it early, and he handed it to the teacher. He could get experience points for making that good choice and for going above and beyond what was expected of him. And as he earns experience points, his character will level up, and he will get more abilities that he can use in the classroom. These abilities are customizable based on the teacher's discretion. For example, you can have abilities such as being able to use a study guide in a test, having the ability to raise your hand and get help on one question during a quiz, or having a free homework pass. All of these kinds of things are available to the students to use for their abilities as they level up and as they earn them, which I think is very important. It gives them that motivation. It also discourages unwanted behavior and off-task behavior through their HP, or health points. As the student makes poor choices or as they're off tasks, teachers have the ability to be able to take health points away from the student. These health points are important because when a student's health points deplete completely to zero, they have a consequence. and there's ability for the teacher to be able to put different consequences into the classroom software, so that way when a student's HP hits 0, the computer will automatically give them a consequence. For example, this student has to help clean the classroom, the student has silent lunch, they lose their recess, different consequences like this. And different consequences and you can have different severity based on different things. Like if a student is just constantly off task, they don't need to lose, maybe they don't need to lose a recess, but maybe they need silent lunch because they were talking too much. The consequence that fits the problem behavior. But what this also does is the experience points that students earn for making good choices aren't affected by the bad choices they make. However, students are not allowed to earn experience points if they don't have any HP. And I think that's really neat, because it teaches kids that the things that they do that are good aren't undone by bad choices, but it makes it harder, but bad choices make it harder to make good choices in the future and be rewarded by those. And I think that's a really valuable lesson that this teaches them. But it also encourages an interactive environment through special abilities that I've already discussed based on character class. And what I mean by this is that it creates camaraderie in the classroom. Students can use their abilities to help each other, but more importantly, students can help create an environment in the room where they want to work, where they want to be a part of what's happening in the classroom. The teacher has the ability to be able to teach through this, through the software, and where they can actually end each class with what in the software they call a boss battle, where it's basically kind of like a pop quiz, and the boss in the creature or the monster that is on the screen, it gives like a question based on the lesson, and then the computer will pick a random student. They have to answer it. If they answer correctly, they inflict damage on the boss or the monster, and if they don't, then that character loses health points. And it's one of those things where they can help each other with these exams, and it creates a community in the classroom where everyone wants to learn and everyone wants to be on task. And I think that's what makes Classcraft really shine as a resource. It is also compatible with your intervention systems that you may have in your school. So I think that's what's really neat. They have a really good pamphlet available on their website that really goes in depth on how PBIS can be incorporated into Classcraft. If you need it, you can contact me and I'll forward it your way. And finally, our last resource that I want to talk about is Go Noodle. Go Noodle gives your students a break without wasting your time. Go Noodle provides free content and premium content available with membership. But what's important about Go Noodle is that Go Noodle is sort of like YouTube, but what is really important about this is that all the content on Go Noodle is fun, educational, interactive, and kid-friendly. A lot of the videos that are on there, they have an educational message that goes on. It also has a fun interactive element. You can have a dancing video where the kids are up dancing, but they're learning about how to read with expression and not read like a robot. And I think that's really neat. They also have common videos for those energetic or high, the word I'm looking for is those high energy moments. I can't think of the word, but high energy moments in the class where maybe you're coming back from gym and everyone just needs to kind of take a deep breath. And these videos, they can provide a moment where the kids can just breathe and they can relax, and it helps transition, and it helps them get ready to be on task for the next moment in class where maybe they wouldn't be able to if it weren't for the ability to get their wiggles out. It's also seen by students as a reward because this also has a leveling system where each time they watch a video, they get an experience point, and when they level their character up, they get rewards. So students want to watch these videos so they can level their character up. And they want to be able to level their character up. So they will work hard so they can watch a video. I can speak from experience. students that I've worked with, they always ask, can we do a Go Noodle video? And my response is, if you work hard. And they will work hard for these Go Noodle videos. So I wanted to thank you for sitting with me as we talk about these resources. I hope that they're helpful to you, and I hope that maybe they give you some ideas and inspire you on ways that you can keep your students on task in your classroom, maybe without using any of these resources, or maybe by using all of them. But what I hope that you know is that these students really want to learn. We just need to encourage them to do so. Thank you very much.